Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Dicktember. This is an inaugural BookTube event created by Mark at Book Time with Elvis. He gathered together Sean D. Stanfast, Michael K. Vaughn, and myself to talk about Private Eyes, House Dicks, Gumshoes for the month of September. I view Dicktember as a kind of affectionate stepson to March Mystery Madness, the great, venerable BookTube event that celebrates murder mysteries just in general. A subset of those murder mysteries would be Private Eye stories, and March Mystery Madness is still months and months away, so any chance to celebrate any kind of this kind of genre stuff is fine by me. And I made a video. I love talking about individual books, but I also like making conceptual videos, very Jesuitical, categorizing videos about whether it's trash or westerns or whatever. And I made one for Private Eyes, and I listed some essential characteristics of Private Eyes, one of which was that they get paid. That Dicktember, for me, does not involve the kind of wastrel who wanders into the police station with a flower in his buttonhole, solves the crime, and then wanders off to the poodle show. Instead, they should get paid. And in the course of that video, I enumerated some famous Private Eyes that therefore are disqualified from Dicktember. Now, I don't get to make the rules. You can read whatever you want. But I mentioned, for instance, Miss Marple. And I also mentioned Nero Wolfe. And I knew that I was going to get howls from Nero Wolfe fans, and I did. What I wasn't expecting was that those howls would be right. Because that doesn't really fly on this channel, right? The motto of this channel is Steve is always right. Okay? But nevertheless, Nero Wolfe fans bombarded my email, and they bombarded the comments of that video, pointing out that in the course of the Nero Wolfe novels, poor, long-suffering Archie Goodwin very often mentions the ailing state of their bank balance. So obviously Nero Wolfe is paid. I had totally missed that. In my own self-defense, trying to pull together the tattered loincloth of my credibility, it just doesn't seem like he's paid. As I whine to a few of you, it just doesn't seem like he's paid. I mean, he has this brownstone. He has a surly butler. He has all sorts of highfalutin tastes that don't seem like they would be covered by fees that he takes from, shoe shine boys or whatever. But it's nevertheless there. but even so, I think my broader point applies. I'll just be warier now about making definitive statements until I'm sure about money changing hands. Like, for instance, in the series that I want to talk about today, the main character probably gets paid. This is by Mary Roberts Reinhardt, who is great. She is fantastic. She wrote about a century ago. She's often referred to as the American Agatha Christie. I think that's, if anything, underselling her. She's, I think, significantly better in most ways than Agatha Christie. I love reading her. I think I've read pretty much everything she ever wrote for money, but not reread. I don't think I own a print copy of any Mary Roberts Reinhardt. Once upon a time, years ago, I got a great anthology of 3 books of hers at the Brattle. And at the Brattle Bookshop, I also got the one really good full-dress biography of hers. And I don't have either one of those. They must have gone out to Mary Roberts Reinhardt fans, because I don't have any printed Mary Roberts Reinhardt. And I love her books. And the character that I'm talking about today, I know just how I want her books to be done, too. The old Penny Dreadful mass market paperbacks would fall apart in your hand. The hardcovers might be collectible. They might be out of my price range. What I would like is for somebody to take the great old... She's had many, many, many different covers to her books, and some of that artwork has been great. I'd like somebody to find that great artwork, put it on a really nice, well-glued, floppy trade paperback with deckled edges and French flaps, put that original cover art on those and just make a whole set of them. Maybe have Tana French do the introductions. That would be wonderful. I would absolutely love that set. I don't think that set exists. But I went back to one of her books for Dicktember today. I went back to Miss Pinkerton. And there is an example of what I'm talking about. Look at that artwork. That is just amazing. What I wouldn't give for that, only if I found that as a mass market paperback, I guarantee you it wouldn't survive a reading. I'm blocking the bean. I don't want to do that. And this is the story of Hilda Adams, who is a nurse. And the title is the kind of slightly teasing, slightly sarcastic nickname that she gets from the police. Inspector Abbott is well known to her. She's well known to him. They give her the nickname of Miss Pinkerton, referring to the Pinkerton agency. because they do often call her in. And again, I'm assuming, I don't think there are any Hilda Adams fans out there. I know there are Nero Wolfe fans. I don't think there are any Hilda Adams fans out there, and I don't want to get them mad if there are. So I will assume now that the police also pay her. I don't recall it ever being mentioned, but either way, if they've got a puzzling case, Abbott tends to call her in. And Mary Roberts Reinhardt does a great job of not only using her nursing qualifications, but also convincingly extrapolating them to her detective qualifications. It turns out that nurses do have to figure a lot of things out. They do have to know people and read motives very well. And the center of this story of Miss Pinkerton is a locked room mystery, which are always puzzlers. They are always a lot of fun. A guy is dead, and he's dead in a locked room. So it seemed by a gunshot wound. So it's pretty clear that he killed himself. But where are the powder burns, and what form do they take? And also, Abbott's instincts just tell him, no, there's something wrong here. This might not be a suicide. So he brings Miss Pinkerton into the crime. He brings her into the household, undercover as the nurse of someone else in the household, but really to sift out things. His men would get nowhere. If he stationed a man in the hallway, nothing would happen. Whereas she could be very helpful. And it's wonderful. Just wonderful. I mean, I every time I go back to Mary Roberts Reinhardt novel, I'm always incredibly pleased with what I find. It doesn't have to be one of her famous books. This is a famous book. I think this has been filmed. And I know that it's been reprinted many times. But not with this cover. Look at that cover. Oh, my God. And sure enough, Hilda Adams does start to figure things out in a very organic, very convincing way. It's very convincingly done. They're so incredibly readable that I was overjoyed to go back to this for Dicktember. And much like with the Miss Silver books, the last video that I did for Dicktember was a Patricia Wentworth Miss Silver novel, and I was so tempted when I was done with that to just read another one. And the same thing is true here. I am so tempted to read another Hilda Adams story, or any Mary Roberts Reinhardt. I'm so tempted to just go straight on to another one. It's when you get an author like this, you just know that no matter what they do, it's going to be enjoyable. I know that a lot of Agatha Christie fans feel the same way about her, and I'm willing to admit that the Agatha Christie tone is the same in every book. So, and I do like that tone. I just don't like it as much as her big mega fans do. And a mega fan who likes that tone, they're definitely going to find it in every book. There's an appeal to that. It's a very, very mercantile appeal. These ladies, the ladies who wrote these books, knew perfectly well that if they didn't strike that tone, they'd lose readers and therefore money. But it's still an art. It's not easy to do. No matter how many times you do it, it's not easy to do. All this Dicktember video is a gush. If you have not experienced Mary Roberts Reinhardt, it's not your fault. I don't think she's in print right now. And if I'm right about that, that would be a towering sacrilege. I don't think any of her books are in print right now. And even if she did come into print, it would be very limited. It would probably be all of the Hilda Adams books and nothing else. If you're not familiar with her, you might want to become familiar with her. If you like reading murder mysteries and you somehow missed this author, you're in for a big treat. So that's my Dicktember for today is Miss Pinkerton. It was an absolute joy to read it again. And I will wrap this video up for now. My book trick video today went exceedingly long, so I will keep my other videos short. But I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.